Welcome to the Careers Unfiltered podcast with Mentoria. You may know your dream job, you may know your dream career, but do you know what goes on behind the scenes in your chosen career path? Have you been able to separate the glamour from the reality in your career? Do you know the good, the bad, and the ugly in your career? Most people walk into their careers without having any idea in terms of what really happens in that career, how to crack success, how to get the right job, how to grow in the career. Don't be those people. Get the ins and outs of your career path through some of the best subject matter experts and industry professionals that Mentoria will bring to you on the Careers Unfiltered podcast.
I feel good that I am able to do something for the environment, for the planet, for people. So that is itself rewarding. Environmental consultancy, basically, we are sharing our expertise and guidance to a lot of different kinds of clients. It can be individual, it can be organization, it can be government institutes. There are three specific areas in which we provide our technical expertise and knowledge, know-how. That is, one is that there is already pre-existing environmental issue or some problem, or there is something which needs to be looked at. So addressing those environmental challenges is one thing. Second is that we promote sustainable practices. So anybody who is entering into the domain, or even if for the sake, like any industry is starting up with some work, or there is some construction activity which is to be initiated, we provide guidance over there and we guide them towards making the environmentally responsible decisions. So we need to have economic development, but we also need to look at in this perspective that we have to protect the environment.
Makes sense.
This is what we environmental consultants do. So the first thing which I would like to say is that you need to have passion for environment. Then you have to decide, like when you are opting for a particular stream in 11th standard itself, you need to have a little bit know-how of what you are liking, basically. What makes you comfortable. Thinking about a stream which you are not comfortable in and carrying all along throughout your career will be difficult. So the first thing is, once you understand that you want to do something for environment, there are various kinds of options. You may opt for biology and mathematics both in 11th standard, or you may opt for biological fields. So whatever options are available with you, you can go ahead with that in the schooling. Once you have done your schooling, even if you are opting for engineering, that's fine. You can opt for atmospheric sciences, you can opt for geology, you can opt for courses like botany, zoology, the mainstream biology courses. You can opt for biotechnology, microbiology, life sciences, ecology. So all these kinds of streams are like you can do your graduation in that stream. Thereafter, you can do your master's. By that time, a little clarity will be there. Environmental engineering is a domain which I would recommend if you want to be in environmental field. And there are possibilities. You can easily transition from one phase to another. But to have a clarity right in the beginning will help you out so that you won't be having any kind of struggle or resistance in the transition. Why we need to have a little bit of biological background? The reason behind is that environment is where we are dealing with the life forms. You are going to talk about plants, the plant species which will be impacted by any kind of project which is coming in, or the animal species or different kinds of species in that sense. So having a little background about that, how the influence is going to be there because of some project is required. Another thing is that if you are transitioning, if you have a mathematical background, or you are having some hardcore physics or some other kind of scientific background, then in that case you can have an add-on certification programs which are easily available online as well as offline. You can do while you are doing your graduation, you can do while you are doing your post-graduation or thereafter. And another part which is very important is that one should look at the opportunities for projects and internships. So as far as subject wise it goes, these should be the subjects which one should opt for. Because it's a very broad area. You have different kinds of domains within environment also. As I spoke about that, you have finance also, which is influenced by it. You have commerce also, which will be influenced by it. So you need to identify which segment you are specifically interested in. Somebody is interested in fisheries, somebody is interested in working with the hospitality industry. Identify your domain. Then after, find out what is the need of that particular segment. After understanding the need of the segment, you should be able to know that how you will be making a connect with your client, and subject matter expertise is definitely point number one. Besides doing all these things, like once you decide that now you want to start with your environmental consultation, you have two options. You can start your own, or you can have a little exposure and experience with some of the pre-existing organizations in this field, which will allow you to work on the real world scenarios. Then you need to do a proper planning, and with proper planning, market research surveys, and identify what is your value proposition. Many times what happens is that there are so many people who are already working in this field. We also just want to follow them. So don't follow everybody just blindly. Have your own uniqueness, and that will help you in establishing your own niche. You have to read a lot besides doing your routine work. So I invest in a few hours in morning as well as in the evening. Whenever it is possible, I read the new things which are the technological innovations. You have to read the magazines, journals, the regulatory guidelines which are being provided by the ministry sites, the government sites. You have to go through, and you also have to go be part of larger community. You can go for having certain groups. You can be a part of groups which are there on LinkedIn, which are related to your interest area. You should participate more in conferences, symposia, meetings, plenary discussions. You have to keep yourself updated. You cannot say that I couldn't get time, because that will keep you outdated from your field. I feel very satisfied when I see the results of the work which we are putting in. So tangible results are there. Second is that I feel good that I am able to do something for the environment, for the planet, for people. So that is itself rewarding. And when you meet and interact with people, and you see that the influence is being made. I have worked on larger projects which were related to directly interacting with communities, and where I could see that initially when they came in, they were a very negative set of people, and then after you are able to convince them about the science and the way in which it needs to be conducted, there was a lot of change, and at the level of city, I could say that the influence was there. So it's very rewarding in itself. Second is the diversity of the projects which we happen to work with. All these projects are of different areas. So it keeps you stimulated intellectually also. You have to keep continuously evolving. You cannot say that, okay, for one project, these things were okay, but for the other project, there will be another set of scenarios. You will also need to upgrade yourself and take some sort of training or understand that. So it's very stimulating intellectually, as well as it is very deeply satisfying to see the results. One thing I would like to say that for every problem, there is a solution. You have to find out, you have to use your thought process. And for every project, for every day, there will be a new set of challenges. So it will be unique to every individual. But I would like to specifically mention about one of the key challenges which I happened to encounter right in the beginning, the first project which I was doing. As I already mentioned, I designed the entire research project. So that was while I was doing my postgraduate diploma in sustainable environment management. I came across one of the peers in that course was related to the marine industry, and they were having some real-time issues, and they came up with some technology. That technology provider was some third party. So they wanted to find out and test this new technology, whether it works or not. If they would have gone to some pre-existing lab, that would have been costing them very high. So they wanted to rope in my knowledge of environment as well as microbiology. But now the first challenge was that I need to have a laboratory setup. So consultation is okay, but in this particular scenario, I needed a lab. And therefore, the solution was that I researched a few labs which were available, like which could engage in such kind of interaction, allowing the external party to take participate in the institutional lab development. So we did a collaboration with one of the research institutes, and then we established the lab for a short period of time, and we came up with the solutions. So challenge was there, but you have to find out what are the solutions, and it is possible. A few domains I would like to say that where they can, like what kind of roles they will be engaging in. So if you're working with the government, they are mainly working on the bringing out the different guidelines, the set of rules, because it is an ever evolving subject environment. So we are seeing a lot of things which are happening around us. So in that case, like you have to engage with the stakeholder consultation. You have to find out what are the problem areas, what are the existing guidelines. You have to do a lot of research work, and you have to come up with the draft plans. So that is with government. If you are working with the big institutes which are providing environmental consultancy for the infrastructural development projects, the mining projects, the other kinds of projects, you have to engage with the stakeholder. You have to identify what are the problem areas. You have to do the site visits. You have to do the environment impact assessment, and you have to come up with an environment management plan. So if you are working with the ESG domain, then in that case, you have to look at the data and the work which is being taken over by the corporates, the companies, which whatever plans they have, the data you have to take and analyze, and you have to come up with a report. So if you are with advocacy domain, in advocacy domain, you will be engaging more with the community. You will be doing, the NGOs can take up the research-based programs, projects, and then come up with some advisory that what can be done and what are the problem areas which will be brought in front of the government. Then there are like, you have a lot of capacity building with the officials who are working in different sectors. So consultancy can be provided for that. Normally what people think is that this is some kind of activism. Everybody who is engaging with environment is an activist and is just going to be against the government. This is how you have to work. So this is not the way in which the work needs to be done. Everybody has to work in a system, in a team form, then only you can progress. Now there are lots of places in this world, in our country itself, where you do not have electricity, where you do not have water supply. You need to look at providing it to them, and then you can start thinking that, okay, we do not want to do this. Then there is a lot of things, like suddenly there is an industry, you want to shut it down, but what about the people who are dependent upon that? So you have to provide them just transition, provide them another jobs where they can be settling down. So this is a basic misconception that it is only activism, but instead of activism, we as a consultant are providing the solution. If there is a problem, how we can even comply to the rules, the guidelines in the legal way, and how we can bring it down, how we can solve that. One is that subject matter expertise, the technical know-how, because when you are going through different industries, you keep gaining a lot of information and knowledge. Then another is that critical thinking, as you keep yourself stimulated intellectually and keep learning. So that is one of the things which will help you in integrating all the information and knowledge from all the fields to solve your problem. Many times a very simple solution can be there, and not a technological intervention is required. So that is the thing which I feel that I am good at. Integrating problem solving and critical thinking. And one most important thing is ethical consideration. So I judge from my own parameter, from my own value, and it has helped me throughout. So this is what I can say that I have gained throughout my journey.